welcome back to my channel. I'm Bookishly Lori, and today I am filming in front of my brand new TBR shows. Ooh, ooh. So I originally filmed my bookshelf tour that had all my books on it, books I've read and books I haven't read. And I decided one of my goals in 2020 is to either completely eliminate my physical TBR or get it down to about 10 books. So I decided to move the shelf that was in my bedroom into my living room and have all my TBR books on it. I was able to fit almost all of my TBR books on it. I have about 75 books on my physical TBR, and I was able to fit about 52 on this shelf, and I put them in rainbow order. So I'm going to be filming in front of this for a little while I try and get these books gone off of my physical TBR, either reading them or trying them and unhauling them. So my rule for setting my TBRs for myself is that I read 50 pages of the book. If by 50 pages I don't want to read it, I unhaul it. I'm not putting it back on my shelves. I'm not reading it later. It is going. So that's just to put a little pressure on myself to get some of these physical books off my TBR. I am someone who does not want a huge physical TBR. It's a lot. I move, not a lot, but I do tend to move, and we want to move into a house in a year or so, so I really don't want to have to move a bunch of books, especially books that I don't need. And also, I'm really trying to just declutter in my life and not keep things that, again, that I don't need. I don't mind having books on my shelf that I haven't read, but I don't want as many as I have now. Like, I have a whole shelf of books that I haven't read, and that's just too much for me. For some people, they'd be like, this is nothing, but for me, it's a lot. So I came up with a really fun way to get rid of these books and pick my TBR in a fun way. As in the past, I have tried the TBR jar, I've tried picking a random number, all those kinds of things, and that's fun, but I'm a mood reader, and it's really hard for me to stick to a TBR, so I thought a fun way to pick books off of my TBR to read, and not be a mood reader and only read, you know, whatever. I really want to get through 5 books off of this shelf a month. So I'm going to pick 5, and I either have to read it or unhaul it. So instead of doing a TBR jar or anything like that, which hasn't worked in the past for me, I came up with a TBR playlist. So how that's going to work is I have a playlist down below on my laptop here of 52 songs for the 52 books that are on here. Now, when I put the playlist on shuffle, I have 50. When I put the playlist on shuffle, a song's going to start playing, and I have 15 seconds to think about that song and pick a book on my shelf that matches that song, and then explain to you guys why that song matches that book. If I cannot match a book to the song in 15 seconds, then I have to count what number song that is on my playlist and match it to the number of books on the shelves and pick that book that it matches with. So I think that's really fun. I love music. Music is so important to me. It's so calming. It's such an anxiety helper for me, and it's a part of my everyday life. I cannot go a day without listening to music. I listen to music while I clean. I listen to music in my car. I listen to music, especially since I've been home, just sitting around playing on Twitter or editing or anything like that. I love music. So I'm excited because I want to show you guys some of the different artists that I listen to. Now, I don't want to get copyrighted for any of this, but I definitely will leave a link to all of the songs that I pick. And that will be fun because if you happen to have already read the book that I pick, you can see how well that song actually does relate to the song, and if it's a random song, that'll be really funny too. So, alright, I am ready to get started. I have my playlist ready to go. Let's see what the first song is. Okay, this is interesting. So the first song is All For You by Night Riots. Now, I need to listen to this song a little bit because I haven't heard it in a while, so I'm going to listen to it, and then I'm going to start the 10-second timer. Second, starting now. Let's see. already pretty interesting. Again, this is the first time I do it. Some songs I might have to like start at the chorus to really get to like the meaning of the song, because like this song, the first 15 seconds were instrumental. They didn't really have any like lyrics right at the start. So, you know, I'm still, you know, this is the first time I've done this. So for some songs, I might need to fast forward to the chorus. But anyway, the first song was All For You by Night Riot. And the book that I ended up picking to go with that song is Things I'm Seeing Without You by Peter Bognanni. So this is about a girl, 17-year-old girl named Tess. And she has pretty much fallen in love with a guy that she has only spoken to online named Jonah. And tragically, in one day, Jonah commits suicide. And so this book is about her experiencing life after Jonah's death and finding out why he committed suicide, what the reason was that he did that, and also what it means for her because she was in love with someone that she never physically met. So I really think that this book is going to be the kind of contemporary that I love. I love hard-hitting contemporary. I love emotional contemporaries that deal with tough subjects. So I'm really excited to read this, and I picked it for this song because this song kind of portrays a sense of longing and being very dedicated to someone, and kind of like almost you get like a sense of yearning when you listen to the song, like perhaps it's an unrequited love. So I think this book is actually going to match it pretty well and fit the vibe of that song pretty well. So I'm excited. This is the first book on my April TBR. 4 more to go. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, so the song that played was Anything by SZA, and the book that I picked to go with that is I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter by Erika L. Sanchez. So the vibe of Anything is kind of just not being good enough or not living up to expectations for yourself. So I think that this would kind of fit with that. That was really the only one that I could think of quickly. This book is about, it's about several different characters. So we have we have 5 different POVs, and the first one is Julia, and she is not your perfect Mexican daughter. She has big dreams of being a writer. So she's not really following her family's expectations. She wants to be a writer, and they obviously want her to follow a more lucrative career path. We have Olga, who is her older sister, and she worked... Oh, wow. Okay. So this book seems really interesting because our main character, Julia, she is not living up to her parents' expectations. She wants to be a writer, and her parents want her to have a more stable, lucrative career. And she had an older sister named Olga who was perfect in her parents' eyes and then got into a car accident and passed away. Now, it also follows some of her best friends along the way and finding out some of the secrets that Olga had before she died. So I don't know much more beyond that, but this book seems really interesting now, and I'm actually kind of glad that I picked this book for this song, because this was one of the books that was kind of like in the very back of my mind on my TBR, but now that I kind of read the synopsis again, I'm actually really excited. So I think this playlist thing is actually working really well for me. I'm excited for it because it's making me pick books that I wouldn't normally pick, and that's the whole point. I want to get books off my shelf that have been here forever, and they would stay here forever if I didn't do something about it. So I have 2 books. Let's get 3 more books ready to go. Waking up in my bed, you're still stuck in my head. Okay, Okay, so the third song that came up is Dance to This by Troye Sivan and Ariana Grande, and immediately I picked Survive the Night by Danielle Vega, simply because this takes place in an underground rave at night, obviously, Survive the Night. And when I think of a rave, I've never been to a rave, but I know there's dancing, and this song, Dance to This, Troye Sivan usually has more happy pop songs, but I love his music because it kind of has like a dark, kind of moody undertone to it, and Dance to This definitely does. The music video, it's like in this very like dingy, like weirdly lit nursing home, and they're dancing on the tables, and so the video is very strange. The concept and the vibe of the song, it's like this happy pop song, but it's almost like sung in a like depressed way. So I think that this book is actually going to fit really well with the vibe of that song. I'm excited to read it. The main character has just gotten out of rehab, so she's battling some of her own personal demons, and then obviously battling some real life horror that goes on. I don't know if there's ghosts, if there's like actual demon things happening. I don't know that much about this book, but I'm excited. I love this. This is so fun. Okay, next song. This would have fit perfectly too. Okay. Okay, so the fourth song that came up was Dance So Good by Wakey Wakey, and this song is another song that I love this song, and so it was hard to like kind of pick a book that went with it, but again, it's like a really nice, like kind of cute love song that it's set into like a very melodramatic piano beat. So I saw this book, Dreamland by Sarah Dessen. This is one of Sarah Dessen's less popular books because, to my understanding, it's not her typical, like, super fluffy summertime YA, and I really like books that are hard-hitting contemporaries or issue-based contemporaries, and from my knowledge and my remembering, this book actually deals with an abusive relationship, I think emotional abuse, so we'll see. And I have read, I think, one other Sarah Dessen book. I've read Lock and Key, and that book dealt with some hard-hitting issues as well. It's been so long since I've read a Sarah Dessen. So I'm excited. I think, yeah, from the back it looks like this girl, main character Caitlin, falls in love with... The main character, Caitlin, falls in love with Rogerson. That is a very strange YA name for a love interest, but he's charming and enigmatic and great and all these things, but it's not all that it's cracked up to be. So I think this is going to be really interesting. It's pretty short, which is good. I'm excited for a short book, and yeah, we'll see. Alright, so the last song that I picked off my playlist was All the Ways by Meghan Trainor, and the book that I picked to go with that is Fangirl by Rowell. Now, I cannot believe I haven't read this book either. I know that's what you're saying. I actually have read Carry On, which is kind of the inside of this book, the story within this story. If you're not familiar by chance, this book is about Kath. She is a twin and she has just started college, and she is the more introverted of the twins, and her sister is super extroverted, super social, and she's thriving in college and making all these friends. Meanwhile, Kath is really socially awkward and not adjusting well to being away from her dad for the first time and kind of separating from her sister as her sister kind of goes on to live her college life, and Kath is still more introverted. And I know she writes a fan fiction because the fan fiction that she writes in this book is called Carry On, and if you didn't know, Rainbow Rowell turned that fan fiction that she wrote in this book as Kath into a real book series. So I could talk about Carry On another day, but I'm excited because this book seems like a very sweet, cute contemporary. I've heard that the relationship between Kath and Levi is super cute and super sweet and wholesome. So that's what I'm excited about for this book, more so than the Carry On aspect, because I already know about it. So I thought this book would fit with the kind of vibes of All the Ways. It's like a super sweet, cute love song, and I think that's how this book is going to feel as well. So here are all the books on my April TBR according to my playlist. I think this went really well. I mean, these are all books that I might not have picked up next if I were just going off of my mood reading. So I think this is a good mix. We got some shorter books, we got some longer books, and I think this will be manageable for April. So I'm really excited. I hope you guys enjoyed how I picked my TBR. If it works out well, I think I'll keep doing it in the future. So if you liked this video, give me a like down below, comment down below, and tell me which book you're most excited to see my opinions on out of this TBR. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, enjoy the journey. Bye guys.
Ever since the day that you